Step two, model step two, reviewing current strategy. 2-1. Identifying current initiative contracts. Identify the current contracts with support the requirement are closely related to, and are these part of your agency's strategic sourcing initiative? Does your activity has a new initiative? Planning stages might affect this requirement. All this helps you do is develop a baseline for the planning of the minimizing surprises. 2-2. Review the document and current level of performance to develop your baseline, identifying any of the current performance issues. Does the current requirement still meet the mission? Interview with the key stakeholders, understand that how they defend the mission, what their concerns are, and what the mission changes to do they have to see in the future that will affect the requirements. Effective plan requires that we can understand the objectives, focus on the desired outcomes. The first consideration is answering these three questions. What is the problem that the agency needs to solve? What is the results required to meet the mission requirements? What will be met in organizational mission needs? 2-3. Beginning of the program risk identification. Risk identification or risk assessment is a process that continues thoroughly the whole service acquisition cycle. As a part of the discussion with the stakeholders, beginning with collecting concerns risk that might have the mission impact. The risk assessment is a team responsibility, but the program manager must take the lead in identifying and organizing risk areas. The knowledge will help you as you develop the requirement in your acquisition strategy. Risk analysis is discussed in depth. Step 4. 2-4. Document current process. It involves the understanding of how things are actually being done today, how they do capture performance, what metrics are you taking into reporting them, what are the challenges with the correcting performance, what the issues and associated with the resolving problems, what is the current small business strategy for prime contracts and subcontracts, what are the seeking developing a good understanding of this as is a state. Based on this, you can more effectively develop plans and actions that will improve performance of the new requirement implementation strategy. 2-5. Determine the status of government furnished properties, materials, and facilities, or GFP, GFM, GFF. The service contract with the government may furnish the property of the facilities for the contractor's use. Determine if that still is in the best interest of the government. Also determine the condition of the materials, facilities, and if it's suitable for use. 2-6. Stakeholders submits current and projected requirements forecasts. Interview with the stakeholder to identify their current requirements, what the mission changes they see, the making of the effect of the requirements you're planning, what areas hold the most certain of your stakeholders, what in contingency operations affect the requirement. This requirement, the knowledge will help develop the scope of the requirement and plan the flexibility you may need in the contractor vehicle to adjust your future requirements. The stakeholders' engagements will help ensure alignment with your efforts with the stakeholder expectations. 2-7. Review the current statutory requirements as the baseline planning of the process. Review the current regulations, legislation that could impact your requirement acquisition strategy. Service contract normally cover these several years, so be sure that the plan to develop and complies with the current regulations. Not one of those were in place for the beginning of the last contract. 2-8. Define a high level of desired result based on your stakeholders' interviews, knowledge and issued and pending changes. Start of refining requirements, desired result outcomes. It is provided with a certain level of help desk support to an organization, a reduction of the computer time. It provides a level of information assurance among its customers. It provides a level of system software engineering support. It also ultimately intends the result of the contractor, how it does relate in an agency's strategic plan. What are the critical results of the stakeholder as have been identified? 2-9. Review the current performance and desired results within the stakeholders and users. Review the higher level results with the stakeholders, customers to validate that your team has defined the high results. Describe the gap between the current performance and understanding of the stakeholders as are asking, discussing the funding and impact. Desired results are significantly beyond current budget levels. This feedback is vital to ensure the actions of the subsequent steps are aligned with your stakeholders' outcomes. The results failure to do so now can result in a lot of rework later. 210. Redefine desired results. Validate stakeholders. Take the feedback generated in Section 2.9. Refine the desired results as to develop. Validate these refined results one more time with your stakeholders to ensure that you are moving in the right direction. Time invested here will pay large dividends later in process. The service acquisition process management mission requirement form the team. Review the current market research. Market research sub-elements. 3-1. Take the team approach to the market research. 2-3-2. Determine the data source. 3-3. Develop a standardized interview guide. 3-4. Conduct a market research including both providers and consumers. 3-5. Request information for services provided with informal and formal. 3-6. Analyze and research. And 3-7. Document market and research and trends.